Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started and see maybe if a few people join us here in a minute. I'm going to ask Anna Maria to go ahead and stop sharing your screen so I can share some slides with everyone today. All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on a Friday afternoon. We're really excited about the Ambassadors and Community Champions program and excited that you've all shown interest and signed up and are here to learn more about it. To those of us that were at the national conference and came to our session, some of this might sound familiar to you, but we're going to run through it so that anyone new or just joining us has some background on the Ambassadors and Community Champions program and has the full scope of what we're trying to accomplish here. So with that, let me do some quick introductions. So I'm Micah Zano. I am a senior account director at Anthology Communications. I've been doing PR in the DC area for about 15 years. Anthology Communications is a woman-owned and operated communications firm. And we do really everything full service, PR, and marketing. Everything from digital events to live in-person events to content marketing, all the way through to advertising. And joining me today is my colleague, Kimmin Williams, and I'm going to hand it to her really quick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kimmin Williams. I'm at Anthology, account supervisor, been in communications about 11 years, and I am a big fan of helping people tell their stories and share their stories.
Fantastic. So we've told you a little bit about us. We've been working with the Amputee Coalition now for a little bit over a year. We were originally brought on to support with communications planning. So we developed a full communications plan. And the goal of this communications plan is really to provide a roadmap for connecting with audiences. And the most important audiences are you guys, the community. We want to make sure we're re-engaging and connecting current community members as well as reaching new community members. So that's really at the heart of it. And you can see right here, these are the audiences that we want to reach and the people we want to connect with. You'll also see over to the side, we've got providers and clinicians in there as well. They're an audience because they can help us get to members of the limb loss and limb difference community too. And so that's why they're included in there as part of this group that we are trying to connect with and get information to. And with that said, I'm going to segue into how we're getting the word out. And Kimmin, go ahead if you want to go ahead here.
Yeah, how we're getting on the word out is everything you see listed here. Everywhere the Amputee Coalition is already doing communications work, we are going to be trying to amplify your messages and what you all are saying through these channels. And if there's something missing, and please let us know. We'd love to expand our reach and think even bigger and broader and be more innovative. So pass back to Micah.
And speaking of letting us know, if you have a smartphone with a camera handy and you want to scan the QR code and take a quick poll, this is just going to be more information to help us know how you like to get updates, how you like to get information, because we use that to kind of figure out what ways we're communicating resonate best with the community and how you guys like getting your information. So I'm going to give it just a minute for everyone to get that code and fill that out before we move on. Okay, and if you didn't get that code, please let us know and we can send you that. We can grab the link and put it in the chat a little bit later. Okay. So now where do the ambassadors and community champions come in? Well, right here. We're going to start talking a little bit about the ambassadors and community champions, starting with who is a champion. A champion is anyone in the community who is interested in getting the word out about the Amputee Coalition, but also interested in connecting with members of the limb loss and limb difference community who maybe haven't connected as much with the network, with the Amputee Coalition, and bringing them in. And this work is important because it's going to grow the collective voice. The more people we can reach, the bigger the collective voice, the more we can share the interest, share the stories, advocate for improvements, those sorts of things. And what can ambassadors and community champions do? We've outlined 4 key areas where you can get involved. but really the sky's the limit. If there is a way that you feel like you could better serve and get the word out about the Amputee Coalition, we're happy to hear it and work with you on making that happen. This is your program, and we are here to help you. So let us know how we can make that happen. And then how do they help the community? By ensuring that no amputee is alone. That is at the core of the mission. And so that is, we're trying to reach as many people in the limb loss and limb difference community as possible. And last but not least, where and when to start? Well, we're going to share a little bit of information here about the different areas and then tell you what next steps are and where we're going to get started. So first, under getting involved, let's talk about influencing. When we talk about members of the ambassadors and community champions who are going to be influencers, these are the people that are interested in using their personal social media accounts to share messages. We'll provide each month a couple of social media posts that you can share out, but feel free to tailor these and make them your own if you're interested in influencing. However, if you're not interested in influencing, maybe you are interested in inquiring. Oops, apologies. In inquiring. So the inquirers, we're looking for them to connect directly with members of the limb loss and limb difference community, asking about their needs and then getting that information back to us and how we can better support. That's information that we will share and pass along. So that's where we're at. So if influencing is not your thing, maybe inquiring is, and then if inquiring is not, maybe storytelling is. And Kimmin is going to talk a little bit about storytelling.
Yeah, everyone on this call has a story in some shape or manner, right? And we want to take that story about the Amputee Coalition and that's impacting your life and maybe the people you've met or the services you've gotten and just generally about your experience living with limb loss or limb difference and share that out. So if you're comfortable sharing that story with a wider audience, this is the track for you. We're thinking it could be a variety of ways, from maybe a small talk with a regional task force, maybe guest hosting on like a podcast, or I don't know, sky's the limit, being interviewed by ABC, right? So if you're comfortable on any level of having an audience listen to your story, that's the track for you. And the next one is networking. Networking is very similar to inquiring, but it's on a bigger, broader level. Instead of working with one-on-one with a person, you would be sharing information with organizations. So if you're someone who has, maybe you work with a consortium of banks or churches and they're trying to be better on inclusion, right? If you could help foster that relationship between them and the Amputee Coalition so that we can get them more resources and be another piece of support for them and their mission and just trying to be better about limb loss and limb difference, that would be a great way for you to get involved, and we'd love that. So yeah, moving back to Micah.
I know we've gone through a lot of information very quickly, and you're probably wondering like, what's next? This all sounds great, but how do we make this actionable? Well, each month we're going to be sending out some emails, and you can see that we're going to be delivering the first one on November 11th. For each group, for inquirers, networkers, storytellers, and influencers, there'll be individual emails. So 4 emails will go out each month. In that email, there'll be some action items that you can take outlined. For example, for influencers, there'll be a few social media posts. For the networkers, there will be a task to identify organizations in your area that might connect you with members of the limb loss and limb difference community. For our storytellers, it might be to identify places where you want to share your story, whether it's a podcast, whether that's at a local event, whether that's at your school. Those are all options. And so you'll see those action items come through, and we ask that you try to accomplish them within the month before the next set of action items come out. We realize people's schedules are busy, so just we're thrilled for you to do what you can. And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out or contact us. And so on this slide, you can definitely see the different dates that the monthly emails will be delivered, as well as the quarterly check-ins. So this is our kickoff call. So this does not count towards our quarterly check-in. Our first quarterly check-in will be December 10th, followed by one on March 10th. And those will be just touch points to see how things are going, see if we need to make any changes. And that's where we really want to hear from you about how things are going, where we need to provide additional supports, and then report out any good news, any great successes that you've had. We'll also capture them in those quarterly check-ins. But also don't hesitate to reach out between those events if you have things you want to share. All right, so that was a lot of information, but let's get into your questions and the information that you want from us. And also at this time, if there's some way that you want to help and it's not included in what we've talked about so far, let us know. We're happy to talk through that right now as well. So go ahead and in the chat, feel free to post any questions you have in there. I didn't see any come in quite yet. So we'll give it just a minute as everyone is typing.
Yeah, I just want to chime in real quick while we're waiting to see if there's any questions. Like I said it a couple times, but this is a two-way street, right? We want you all to tell us what we're missing and what's happening and what's going on and what you want to see. We want to make sure we're really evolving and innovating what's possible out there. And the best way is to hear from you. We don't want to just tell you things to do. We want to hear what you want to do and what we should be doing as well, right? So two-way street, we'd love to hear about what you're thinking.
Okay. I know it can take a minute to type in the chat any questions you have. So while we're waiting, we can actually go ahead and move into next steps and action items to take, I think. So Kimon, I'm going to pass it to you to take this on.
Yes, sorry, there were a couple of raised hands. I don't know how to control that though.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to questions then. I will stop share and maybe that'll help us out there. Don't see any other questions coming in right now, but we'll give it a few more minutes. And while we wait for additional questions to come in or people to raise their hand, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time and we can talk through. Actually, Kimon, if you just want to talk through the last, I'll share this slide real quick. If you want to talk through this last piece really quick.
Yes, and that actually helps with Eileen's question in the chat box. We would love if you want to put that in the chat. If there's different tracks, those different 4 tracks, if you are more interested in one versus the other, or you want to mix and match storytelling and inquiring, just let us know. If you haven't already signed up, we can definitely sort through it with the chat and make sure you are signed. Ooh, the chat is not an option at the moment, now that I'm saying that.
They can put it in the Q&A and we can answer it from there.
Put in the Q&A, we can definitely sort through that afterwards and make sure that you are getting the right emails. We don't want to overwhelm anyone with too many emails. So if you want to do that, we'd love that. If not, we can definitely kind of mix and match and find what makes the most sense for you and talk you through that later on if you want to stay in touch with us. Other things is just getting involved with what Amputee Coalition already puts out with like their Thrive blog. Make sure you get the newsletter and you get In Motion magazine and just checking in on what's happening there. If you're not aware, there is a town hall coming up November 15th. I'm going to put a link to that in the chat if you want to get registered and make sure you're in on what's going on. We'd love that. Connect on social, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. This is a good way to get that done. And we'll hang out a little bit on this after this call actually ends. If you want to chat a little bit more and kind of talk a little bit, because we'd love to talk more about what you're thinking, what your ideas are. If you have a story to tell us, please let us know. We're all about that.
I just wanted to respond to Lynn. This is an Amputee Coalition program, so this is directly affiliated with the organization.
Okay, Lynn, I see you're most interested in inquiring, storytelling, and networking. Elle, I saw that you put in your influencing and storytelling. Eileen, storytelling, thank you. This is great. We're very excited about this. So there's a question here. Is this all work we do on our own or will there be AC staff working with us? So like I said, we'll be sending out those emails each month. And in the email, for instance, there will be specific action items to take. So you can take those actions. If you ever have questions or need support, Kim and I are always available to help with that. If you're unsure when you get those emails what to do, let us know and we can definitely work with you on that.
And Matt, I see Matt Costa, I see your question. With that first email that goes out, we can link to this presentation and share it to you all if you're interested in what's going on and kind of keeping that as an archive. We can share that out in that first email coming next week.
For David, in terms of seeking funds from other sources, the MPT Coalition does always, have a donate page. We're going to be kicking off our end of the year giving campaign, starting on Giving Tuesday on November 29th, and that will go to the end of the year. And so you'll see stuff coming out from the organization on, again, donations and fundraising.
So thank you, Anna Maria. So Kristen, I guess it depends on what track you're on, right? So if you are networking and you're trying to help facilitate a relationship with AC, then we can help and work with you through that. If you're already posting on social, we're already just going to give you templates that you can update and send out yourself on your own personal social media. So it kind of depends on what you're thinking and what level of involvement you want to get to. If that helps, if not, please let me know, and I'm happy to be more specific about that.
So I don't see any additional questions coming in at this time, or any additional other hands raised. We will stay on until for a few minutes after 4:30. If anyone wants to stay on and share their stories, feel free to raise your hand, let us know. Otherwise, everyone feel free to log off and enjoy the rest of your Friday. We really appreciate you guys joining and volunteering to do this. Look for that first email to come out on November 11th. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions at any time. I'm going to ask Kim to put both of our emails in the chat really quick so you can grab those, and feel free to contact us as needed. We have all your email addresses, so if there's anything that you want to post that we can help or support with, let us know. That if it's more specific or direct, you can always reach out to us through the email addresses that Kim posted in the chat. Okay, I see Kristen's email or question about social media, about what social media platforms are we active on. So we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel. We are working on building up our LinkedIn as well. So those are just, did I miss any, guys? Did I get them all?
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Yes.
Yep, got them all. Okay, yes. And actually, if you give us a second, I think we can go grab those handles really quick and pop them into the chat. Okay, you should see the links to all the social in the chat as well. We've got just a few minutes left. We'll hang out here on mute unless someone raises their hand or has a question. See a few people left in the room.